Welcome to the PCS Edventures Educator Spotlight series. In today's sponsored feature story, we're exploring a high-energy approach to developing STEM skills while kids race against the clock. We spoke with Dina Sane, Tennessee's Rural Education Teacher of the Year, who is redefining classroom learning with PCS Edventures Open and Go program, 60 seconds or less.
I am the K-8 STEM coordinator for Hardeman County. I've been teaching over 27 years. I work primarily with 3rd through 8th grade students with science, math, and STEM activities. I'm very passionate about designing hands-on inquiry-based experiences. I want to spark their curiosity, their critical thinking, and just really let them have a fun time while learning.
And what drew you to this specific PCS program?
I was really drawn to the 60 seconds or less because it was structured, yet it was creative, and it had so many different STEM challenges. I'm always looking for engaging activities, especially for my middle school students. So the time challenge was a great thing for middle school, and then it was high energy. There are 12 different activities on this. You can take an hour for each one if you want to. I set it up a little different, but it was just a great motivator for my students at the end of the year.
Tell me about your experience using it as far as your initial reaction when you received the shipment, unpacking it, and then finding the teaching materials to go along with it.
It was so refreshing for me. The box was very well preserved. The materials all in there were so neatly packaged, ready to use. Immediately came out with, and it's got the lesson plans all in a binder. Plus, you could download the digital resources. And it just felt like a treasure chest to me. All the little activities were so neatly set up in there. I could open it up and immediately start using it with my students.
Tell me about your experience following the teaching guide in the program.
So for the teaching guide is wonderful. If you're brand new to STEM, or if there's teachers that are new to STEM and saying, hey, I don't know what to do. It's a complete lesson broken down into the 15 minutes, 13 minutes, 8 minutes, everything you need. All the materials are there. So I feel like it's great for teachers when they say, well, I've got a lesson plan, but then I've got to hunt all this stuff up. Everything is in that tub. So you have the lesson plan, you have all the materials, and you can tailor make it for your teaching style or for your classroom. Like I said, as a person that primarily does project-based learning, the students are with me in 2-hour blocks. I know that's a luxury. Some teachers only get 45 minutes, some get an hour, but you can incorporate it in any way. Each lesson is set up for an hour. I actually incorporated 5 of the activities into a 2-hour block. Once I had already prepped my students in learning how to play each game. And then in teams of 3 to 5, they rotated each table at my building, and they all got to experience not just one game, but they did 5 different games.
Let's talk about some of those fun aha moments. Tell me about what the kids liked the most. What were some of those fun games that they played that they probably didn't realize they were even learning anything, but they were just so engaged?
Absolutely. There's so many science activities that come into play when you do this. The most engaging, hands down favorite of the 5 we did last week was called the 15 and 60. And that's 15 cups around the table, single toss ping pong ball, trying to get 15 ping pong balls into 15 different cups in 60 seconds. So I love the way you have it set up with a materials person, a recorder, the person. They each have a responsibility during the game, and they can also cheer on that person. There was a lot of collaboration and teamwork, yelling when they got it, chasing down the ping balls in the room when it just went off the table. But it was just high energy. The kids were super excited. They kept saying, can we play this one again? And I said, you can't just stand there and try to put it into one cup. And so they would circle. A few of the boys got all 15 in 5 different cups. They thought they were amazing. Then they were trying to teach everybody else how to do it.
What was one of the most challenging activities that you did? I know you mentioned one before we started recording about the feather.
And one of the challenging ones, which it looked simple on paper, and it had 2 feathers, and it just had a student there, and they were just supposed to keep the 2 feathers in the air for as long as they could. So when I got out and the feathers come, they're beautiful white feathers, come with the box and everything. So I didn't use different feathers, but I tried to do it in like 2 seconds, they're straight to the ground. And I thought, okay, maybe middle school students have way more hot air than I do. So we would try and it would immediately go down. So the kids were like, what can we do? How are they doing this? And I said, well, they're just showing, just using your breath. You're just going around blowing. But I said, what else could we do? And so they said, Miss Dina, can we use paper from the directions? Can we use this to blow them up? So some of the groups, when they would come around, they would try to use paper to do it. I also have at my STEM center, I have fans, portable fans, it's about this size. And so I charged all them up. And so sometimes they would have the materials manager throw them up, and then they would try to keep them up with the fan. Some of the students found it worked better. They were able to fit the feathers into each other, so they weren't having to keep two going. But it was just really challenging. I think our winner that day kept them in the air for maybe 8 seconds, which we weren't close to the 60, but it was our first time doing that. So it was a great experience. I think our best aha moment of when we used it was when we had to do the Power of Air challenge. And that's when they blow up a balloon, 15 cups all around the table, and they're trying to knock all of them off in 60 seconds. When your balloon deflates, the time doesn't stop. You have to keep blowing it up. So I had a student at first, and she would blow it up and she'd do a cup, and then she'd blow it up and she'd do a cup, and she saw that she was running out of time and she didn't know. So as she saw other students do it, she saw how they blew it up and they would just do short bursts and they would kind of angle it. So maybe the momentum of one cup, when it knocked off, knocked another one. They were getting 2 or 3 at a time, and she was just one at a time, blow one at a time, getting really tired of it. So she changed the angle of her balloon. She did it in more controlled bursts. She was so excited with her group. She looked at a friend and she said, when you get there, do it like this. And I just love the way they were encouraging other, even though it was like, who's going to do it the fastest? They still wanted everybody to succeed. So that was a great moment with them.
That's great. And that's what I was going to ask. Were there some peer teaching moments? And it sounds like there were some more direct peer teaching moments, but also some unspoken moments.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite part of the program?
My favorite part for me, as like I said, I have been teaching for over 27 years, and it's always when someone says, what can we do to help you? And I say, give me more time. Because a teacher puts so much time into the planning. They might come in and a principal walks through your room and they say, oh, great lesson, let me see another one tomorrow. And they may see 15 minutes of a lesson, but they don't know that you might have put 8 hours into that lesson. So from taking the Tennessee state standards and making sure that we are covering those standards in a unique and creative way, and then building the lesson plan around that, and then gathering all the supplies, and then having them set up at the tables for the kids. And it's just a lot of prep work. There is so much prep work in it. So I can't recommend this enough to teachers. If you're thinking about something for the price value, I know you're thinking, well, Dina, I can buy the ping pong balls and the cups and balloons. It wasn't that as much as the lesson plans were there. I was buying that package that had the entire curriculum there. So as I use this and as I need to replenish, I only have to replenish the materials. I know exactly what they are. Some of them, like the horseshoes and things, will last forever. The towels, and balloons and things can be replaced, but I don't have to come up with, oh, let me do another lesson with balloons. Everything is there in the binder. All the lesson plans are there, and they start you out with a great amount of materials that you can keep replenishing. So it's just something you can use for years to come. I definitely think it is worth the initial investment.
Kids probably come in and they're just having a blast. They may not even realize that they're learning some of these STEM skills, but what are some of those lifelong skills that you think they will take from this program?
We always start about the 4 C's in education. I said collaboration. When they go to their career job, they're probably not going to be isolated in a little lab by themselves with a code just doing projects. So I say you're going to have to know how to get along with people, and we have to communicate with them. So I love the fact that so many of these, especially the one juggling the cups in the air with 3 people, 5 people, and then you would add cups to it. They really had to collaborate and work as a team. And one boy was trying to juggle, and then they tried to toss it to each other. So it was really fun seeing them collaborate together, and their communication skills, they had to clearly talk about that. Just the creativity when a lesson we looked at it, we saw it in the book, but it still just didn't work for us. Like the washer going into the cup with the spoon, we could not make it arch that high. We were thinking, do we need to build a catapult? Do we need to have something prior to this? So it was just them thinking outside the box. How is this going to work? And just thinking about thrust and lift and drag, all those science vocabulary words that they use is part of that time management skill, that 60 seconds or less. I said, they are timed on state tests. We are timed on the driver's test they'll be going to soon. So time is always a factor. So I love the fact that there's always a time management piece there. And then just their creativity and their critical thinking skills, it always helps.
And kind of a bird's eye view over STEAM and STEM in general, with you being a STEM teacher, what impact have you observed that these types of classes are having on students, that they're learning in their development?
For me, it's that hands-on tactile touch. We're a Title I school. Most of my kids, they need to do it so they remember it. We are really trying to get away from, the worksheet format, the paper, and a lot of my activities, even though computer science was my minor and everybody thinks, oh, I rarely have them on a Chromebook or things like that. My activities are mostly unplugged. So I just like that hands-on building. We are just back to the basics with, paper towel rolls, scissors, paper, ping pong balls, cups, whatever they can do. And then we talk about it at the end. They reflect what worked well, what didn't, how can they improve it. So I really enjoy seeing the kids, those light bulb moments when they can do something just totally on their own. They did not use a computer for it. They didn't use other things. It's just them building from scratch. They tend to really enjoy that. And it's just fun to see them excited about learning.
I love that. And then just speaking to other educators who are overwhelmed with a gazillion things on their plate, why would you recommend this PCS program to them, or to add any other STEM programs to their curriculum?
The best thing I can tell teachers is I really get it. Like I said, 27 years in here, I know how stretched we are to do everything and to incorporate everything. And people say not one more thing, but I just want you to know, if you purchase this program, it is ready to go. It is easy to integrate and it's high impact. The kids are excited when they see all these things. And I think you'll think it's worth it once you start using it in your classroom.
Any other advice that you would give to educators who are new to using STEM programs in the classroom, or anything else that you would like to add that we haven't covered?
I would just like to tell teachers to start small and be flexible. Don't be afraid to let the students lead. With my number of years in, when I first started doing this, when I got interested in STEM in 2018, I did not have money for it. I did not have resources. I was looking for grants. How can I bring this in? And I just started very small. I went into my children's bedrooms and I said, hey, I'm going to need this checkerboard. I'm going to need this chessboard. We started with different games that would help them with the critical thinking. And then I got some grants and we started adding some drones to the program, added some 3D printers, but you don't have to start and have everything. It can be very, very simple. Just start with something and let those kids just be able to collaborate and do some critical thinking, and you'll be amazed at how engaged they are. So many good products out there. And like I said, I love to recommend to teachers and tell them, just if you can get a turnkey one that you enjoy and you're not having to worry about, oh, I need some more batteries, or, oh, I didn't charge this. It's just nice to have something that you're still teaching skills. The principal can't say, hey, where are those standards? They're in there in this program. So I'm excited I got it and looking forward to purchasing some more things.
A big thanks to Dina for sharing how she's keeping kids engaged with the 60 Seconds or Less program. And congratulations on being named Tennessee's Rural Education Teacher of the Year. You're making a real difference in the lives of your students. To listen to more stories from educators like you, visit edventures.com/spotlight. That's EDVENTURES.com/spotlight.